Tamám Shud. These two Persian words, torn directly from the final page of a rare book of poetry and crammed into a tiny, hidden pocket of a dead man's trousers, translate to one chilling phrase: "It is finished." On a cold December morning in 1948, on a quiet beach in Adelaide, Australia, a well-dressed man was found sitting against a sea wall, completely unmoving, with an unlit cigarette resting on his collar. He carried no wallet, no identification, and every single brand label on his clothing had been meticulously cut off with scissors. There were no signs of violence, no struggle, and no physical wounds on his body. After nearly 8 decades of military-grade intelligence investigation, international spy theories, and advanced genetic testing, the world is still left asking a haunting question: who was this man, how did he die without a trace, and what lethal secret was he trying to hide? The eerie discovery unfolded just as the sun was rising over Somerton Beach, when local passers-by noticed a man lying in the sand in formal attire that seemed entirely out of place for a warm seaside morning. He was wearing a double-breasted jacket, a polished tie, and clean shoes, looking as though he had simply fallen asleep while resting against the concrete barrier. When police officers arrived to inspect the scene, they quickly realized something was profoundly wrong. The man's pockets contained only a half-used pack of chewing gum, an unused bus ticket, a train ticket to a nearby town, a box of matches, and 2 ordinary combs. There was not a single card, driver's license, or piece of paper that could reveal his name, and whoever placed him there had gone to extraordinary lengths to ensure his identity remained a total secret. When the medical examiner conducted the initial autopsy, the case transformed from a tragic sudden death into an alarming forensic nightmare. The coroner discovered that the man's spleen was 3 times its normal size, his stomach was heavily congested with blood, and his internal organs showed clear signs of severe acute poisoning. However, despite conducting exhaustive chemical tests, toxicologists could not find a single milligram of any known poison, chemical compound, or drug in his digestive system or bloodstream. The medical experts concluded that he must have been killed by a rare, rapidly degrading toxin that completely vanished from the human body immediately after heart failure, leaving behind the chilling reality of a frictionless, untraceable assassination. Weeks into the dead-end investigation, detectives searched the Adelaide railway station and discovered a brown leather suitcase that had been checked into the luggage room on the exact day before the body was found. Inside the suitcase, police uncovered a collection of personal items, including tailoring tools, stencil equipment, a table knife ground down into a sharp instrument, and more clothing with every single name tag systematically removed. The only exception was a single thread card that bore the written name, Keane, but extensive searches across global military databases, missing persons registers, and international police records revealed that no person named Keane had gone missing anywhere in the English-speaking world. The mystery took a shocking, dramatic turn months later when a forensic expert re-examined the dead man's trousers and discovered a hidden, secret pocket stitched deep inside the waistband. Concealed inside was a tiny, tightly rolled scrap of paper cut out from the final page of an extremely rare book of Persian poetry called the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. Printed on the paper were the words, Tamám Shud, a phrase used to mark the absolute end of a story. A nationwide search was immediately launched to find the exact book from which the page had been torn, leading police to a man who claimed that someone had mysteriously tossed the rare book through the open window of his parked car on the very night the Somerton man died. When detectives examined the newly recovered book, they made 2 explosive discoveries on its back cover that pointed directly toward Cold War espionage. Written on the back were 5 lines of capital letters that appeared to be a complex, unbreakable military secret code that even top government codebreakers could not decipher. Directly beneath the strange code was an unlisted phone number belonging to a young local nurse who lived just a short distance from Somerton Beach. When police interrogated the nurse, she admitted to owning a copy of that exact book years earlier and claimed she had given it to a mysterious man, but when police showed her a plaster bust of the dead man's face, she became visibly terrified, refused to identify him, and denied knowing anything about his death. Decades after his body was buried under a plain gravestone marked simply as the Unknown Man, modern researchers and forensic geneticists reopened the case using cutting-edge DNA technology. While recent genetic tracing suggests he may have been an ordinary electrical engineer linked to an Australian family line, this partial answer only deepens the underlying horror of the event. It fails to explain why a quiet technician possessed military codebooks, why he died from an invisible poison, why every label on his clothes was surgically removed, or why a mysterious nurse reacted with raw horror upon seeing his face. The true circumstances of his final hours remain buried in silence, proving that some real-life mysteries are far stranger than any fiction ever written.